Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DISNEY Dreamlight Valley. Today we have a very interesting video. It's gonna be a research video. I did a lot of polls and I got a lot of data, and we're gonna try to analyze this data. So, if you have been watching DISNEY Dreamlight Valley for a while, you probably see a lot of Dreamsnap submission reviews, and a lot of people with really strong submissions get very low results sometimes. The opposite happens sometimes as well. Sometimes people get way more moonstones than they thought they were gonna get. So it's not like people only get robbed. Sometimes people get rewarded even though they didn't think that their submission was that good. That happens as well. But today we're gonna talk about what people are actually looking in Dreamsnaps and what can you do to potentially give you as high of a chance to get good results as you can. Let's jump straight into it. If you're enjoying this kind of content, the sub to this channel would be absolutely dreamy. Let's go. Alright, so I've been running lots of polls on my community wall lately, trying to figure out certain things about Dreamsnaps. And let me just tell you, the results were shocking. Absolutely shocking for some of them. Let's start with my latest poll that I just did less than 21 hours ago. We have almost 1,000 votes on it, so I think it's a pretty good pool. The question was, what is the most important to you when you vote for Dreamsnaps? And the options pretty much were if it's a theme, if it's a composition, if it's lighting and filters, if it's creativity and thinking outside of the box, or if it's seeing effort in the picture. Now, for me personally, I think that my vote would be for option number 2. Composition is the most important. As long as the picture has at least something in common with the theme, I'll vote for it if it's a better composition. It wasn't the most popular option, though. The most popular option that people voted for was option number 1. Overwhelmingly, double the votes, double of option number 2, which was the second most voted option. And option number 1 states, fitting the theme is the most important. I will vote for the picture that fits the theme the most, no matter the composition. So now there's a lot of comments saying that all of them are important, but the numbers don't lie. The most important thing that most people are looking for when voting for Dreamsnaps is a theme. That was shocking to me. I mean, I knew that theme was important, but that important? It's absolutely blew my mind. So that means that if you came up with the most genius idea and the Dreamsnap is looking absolute fire, but if somebody doesn't feel like it fits the theme enough, and your picture shown against maybe very simple, nice looking picture that has that has very strong connection to the theme, 56% of people most likely will vote for that other picture, which is fair. The one thing that surprised me is that, first of all, there is so many ways usually that you can interpret the theme. At least a lot of themes are very open-ended and vague, which means that you're pretty much at the mercy of what people thought the submission should look like this week. Almost every week I see people say that they're looking for absolutely different things in the submissions. For example, like just the recent Arendelle submission, a lot of people were considering Frozen to be the theme. A lot of people said it's not Frozen, it's Arendelle. So they were looking for specific references to actual Arendelle as a town. Other people were just looking for a pretty wintry picture. And you cannot please them all. Like, you cannot create a submission that's gonna be considered to be on theme by every single person. I mean, you probably can, but you don't know which one. Which one, for example, for Arendelle, which one of those three was the most important for the most people? So nailing that theme in a way that it will be appealing to absolutely every kind of voter is extremely important when you're making your dream snap. Sometimes people try to go for obscure references that in their head are connected to the theme, and maybe they are if you know those obscure references. But for most people, on the first glance, your image might not look like it has anything to do with the theme. If it has a deeper meaning that requires certain time to try to figure out and certain knowledge to be able to connect the dots and see how your image is connected to the theme, you're gonna lose a lot of votes. So this poll proves one and for all, the first focus of your picture should be how easy it is to see that your image is actually fits the theme. Let's move to the next poll. Now, this one absolutely blew my mind. We have 2,000 votes on this one, so it's a much bigger pool of people voting. And the question was, how you usually vote for Dreamsnaps? And the options were, number 1, I'm very thorough and compare every image in detail. Number 2, I try to look deeper into images I'm voting for if they look complex. Number 3, I'm usually voting mostly based on first impressions. Number 4, I vote randomly, so I can get 50 moonstones as fast as possible. I honestly added the last option mostly as a joke. I was gonna see if anybody would vote for it at all. And when I saw 7% of people say they vote randomly, which literally means they do not take images into consideration. They just click, for example, the right image 10 times, they get their 50 moonstones, and they leave. And it might not seem like a lot. 7% seems like a very small number compared to the others, right? Well, think of it this way. 7 people out of 100 who vote in Dreamsnaps basically flip a coin. So imagine, first of all, imagine your image gets shown to a couple of those people during voting period and loses every time, loses the flip of a coin. That can propel even the best submission so much lower in the ranks. This is how robbed submissions get born, in my opinion. If you did everything right, if your image is 100% on the theme, if it's very, very good looking, you have perfect lights, perfect filter, perfect composition, absolutely perfect image, this is where it gets propelled down in the ladder when you get unlucky and get a bunch of votes that go against you just because people voting randomly. Now, I cannot judge anybody for doing this. I'm sure some people will, but, like, there is no wrong or right way to play Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm sure the way you can look at it is that the game is offering 50 moonstones to do 10 clicks. Why not take it? Why, like, if you're not interested in voting, but you are interested in moonstones, why not just take the price, right? So there's... I just cannot judge these people. Like, that's their way of playing the game. I guess it's mostly Gameloft's fault for not thinking through how to incentivize people to vote and actually look at the images. Maybe, I don't know, put a timer on each vote so you cannot vote unless you looked at the images for 5 seconds. Something like that. I don't know. They just made it too easy to do this. And it's not... I guess now when I saw the numbers, it's not very surprising that people actually just vote randomly and unintentionally screw over a lot of people by doing so. Like, I can't understate how much the 7% is. And the craziest thing is that this is 7% of our community, which, in my opinion, is like the most hardcore player base. There is also thousands of people who are not part of any YouTube community. They're not part of social media, any kind of social media community. Most likely very casual players who just want to get their 50 moonstones. So if you... I don't think you can extrapolate these numbers to the entire player base of Disney Dreamlight Valley. I think if you do, the number of random voters is gonna go up by a lot. Because the most casual players who just want moonstones, and probably the people who submit absolutely random images to get 300 moonstones from Dreamsnaps, most of those people are going to be people who just vote randomly as well, because they just don't care about Dreamsnaps, but they do like free moonstones. So, how do you solve this? I don't know. If you have any ideas how Disney Dreamlight, what can Disney Dreamlight Valley do to discourage this behavior and maybe still allow people to get their moonstones without hurting other people in the process? I don't know, but I would say if you extrapolate this to the entire player base, it's probably the number is at least twice or maybe even 3 times higher. So I would say probably as many as 20% of the entire player base who vote for Dreamsnaps does so randomly. Once again, I just pulled that number out of my ear, but it makes sense to me. If 7% of very active and involved community, literally dedicated to Disney Dreamlight Valley, does this, like, can you imagine people who just play extremely casually not doing this even more? So once again, not judging people who do this, but you guys have to understand that by doing this, you are screwing a lot of people over and create insane amount of randomness in Dreamsnaps that already has insane amount of randomness. And if there is a chance you can at least glance, like look at the other options. 71% of people vote based on first impressions. How much more time does it take to vote on the first impression versus just voting randomly for 10 images a day? I would say 10 clicks, just rapid fire 10 clicks versus 10 clicks with at least 3 seconds to look at 2 images and at least like on your give your brain a chance to say, okay, this one is better, I vote for this. I feel like it's not that big of a time difference. If the issue is that it takes a long time to vote, I feel like the difference between 10 random clicks and 10 votes based on first impression is probably like maybe 30 seconds at the worst. And by spending those 30 seconds, you guys are going to give people who actually put a lot of effort into their submissions more of a fighting chance, and you're going to create more of a fair voting environment for everybody. So I highly encourage people who are voting randomly to at least spend a second or two and actually pick an image that you feel like deserves the vote more. Everybody would really appreciate it. Now, what else can we learn from this? People mostly vote on their first impressions. 71% of people vote based on the first impressions, which means they vote pretty fast. You look at 2 images, you're like, oh yeah, this one is better. Only 7% of people compare every image in detail. And once again, it's probably going to be way lower when you extrapolate to the entire player base of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So that makes it pretty obvious that details don't really matter. It's all about the first impression that your image creates. That's how you get the votes. So that literally I should hear this, because I usually obsess over the details, over if certain character is doing certain thing, or certain tiny item on the background that probably nobody even gonna notice or see. It's all about the first impression. So just look at your image, see if it conveys the vibe that you're going for. If it looks overall very pleasing and there's nothing sticking out, smaller details are not gonna matter at all. That also shows why simple submissions are usually doing so much better, because it's much easier to take in the entire image on the first impression. If it's simple, if it's way overly complex, then a lot of people are just not going to be able to appreciate it. And if it's shown against some other image that is pretty and simple, most people are just going to choose that image, because first impression of that image is probably much easier to receive than more complex image. So this is a trade-off. This is a trade-off, guys. All right, and here's another post, the final poll I wanted to look into this video. Do you zoom in on submissions while voting? 10% said yes, very often, which is higher than I expected, honestly. 17% said only if I can decide, which makes sense. 27% said only if the shot is beautiful and I want to see it in detail. This would be my vote as well. And it's actually not the most popular. The most popular is I never zoom in, which is fair. A lot of platforms don't even allow you to zoom in, like, or at least don't make it very easy. If you're playing like on Switch or Xbox, I see people say there's no option. Or if there is an option, it's not straightforward, and a lot of people haven't even realized there is a way to zoom in images. So it's fair enough. But what does this teach us? That if you make, for example, if it's an outfit challenge and your character is too far away, a lot of people are not going to see them. Like, you have to imagine what will your image look like. Because when we decorate, when we make our submission, we usually see it full screen. But imagine if somebody's voting and your image is like, what is it, like maybe 7 times smaller than the entire screen. So it's like tiny little rectangle on the right side of the image. It's like 7-8 times zoomed out. So what I would do, I would, if you're on PC, if it's on the console, maybe take a photo with your phone and try to like make it about the size as you would see it when voting, and see if you can still see what's going on in the shot, if you can still get a good first impression while being that small. And this is another reason why simpler submissions usually do better. Because if it's simple, it's most likely more zoomed in on the action, so there's not too much things going on, so you can still see everything even on the small submission. So pretty much every single poll today proves to us that usually the simpler the better. If you are going for complex shot, the complexity should not come, like, your shot should not depend on your complexity. It's okay to have complex backgrounds, but it needs to blend. Like, do not look at every detail and judge the picture on the details, but judge it how all the details that you created blend together and create, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you're gonna have a very detailed submission, the details themselves don't matter as much as how well these details blend together in creating like one cohesive background and one cohesive composition that people can just glance for a second and be impressed and grab their attention. That's another important thing, grabbing people's attention, considering your vote on first impressions. Images that are dark, that's another disadvantage. Like, they could be very, very well created and very detailed, but if it's against a bright image with nice bright lights and juicy saturated colors, that image just naturally gonna grab your attention way more than the darker image. So if you are going for a dark image, make sure there is something on your dark image that can grab people's attention and doesn't need to make them squint to try to figure out what's even going on in the shot. Okay, one more poll I wanted to look in this video. How do you usually vote in outfit challenges? Option 1, only vote based on outfit and completely ignore the background. There is still 7% of people who do that, which was also shocking to me. I did not think many people do that. Which makes sense, it is an outfit challenge. So 7% of people will not care about what you put on the background at all. They will just zero in your outfit, compare two outfits, and choose which outfit is better. The most popular option was option number 2. Outfit is the most important thing when I vote, but if background and composition on one of the shots is far better than the other, I may vote for it even if I like the other outfit slightly more. That's a long option, but basically what it means is, if one outfit is slightly better than the other, but the background and the overall composition on the shot with slightly worse outfit is far superior. For example, you have a very beautiful, well thought out, high effort shot versus just an outfit in front of a dream castle, for example. Even if the outfit in front of a dream castle you like more than a way more thoughtful shot, some people will still vote for the more complex and beautiful shot, even though the outfit is not as good in their mind, which is fair. Honestly, this would probably be my vote as well. No, actually, no. My vote would be option number 5, which is the second most voted one, which is I keep forgetting it's an outfit challenge and just vote for the prettiest picture. This is what I do, to be fair. And it's totally fine, because everybody's been saying for a long time, there is no reason to have separate outfit and decoration challenges, because apparently a lot of people treat them the same, and it's fair. It's fair. It's a photo. You can't... It's, for me personally, it's really hard to separate the background from the outfit. They work together, and sometimes they just don't work. So, if they want to do an outfit challenge, they should, when you take a photo, they should just create a black background behind your character, and just have the outfit, and make everybody in the same pose. Now, if you want like a full, true experience of clothing challenge, don't even let us take a photo. Just let us create the outfit, and then just click a button, and it's gonna create the avatar in the same outfit, just standing in front of the black background. So everybody has the same pose, everybody has everything the same. You just judge the picture on the outfit. Now, that would be outfit challenge. As far as we are fully allowed to decorate the entire shot, most of the people are going to pay attention to your background. The third most voted option was, I vote based on overall composition. Background is as important as outfit. Which is fair. To be honest, it's pretty similar to option number 5. It's about the same thing. So you vote for overall composition. That's why it's important. If you're a beginner and if you read outfit challenge and think, okay, I'm just gonna make the best outfit I can, and then just take a picture in front of a dream castle, or take a picture in front of a, I don't know, just empty giant grass field. Most of the people probably not gonna vote for your shot if it goes against very well thought out shot with also a good outfit. So putting at least a little bit of effort into your background in the outfit challenge is definitely gonna pay off. So this is a nice tip for beginner players. Alright guys, I hope this was insightful. What did we learn? How does this help us to get better results in Dreamsnaps? Well, by analyzing what people are looking for while voting for Dreamsnaps, I have came to a couple conclusions, and here they are. Number 1, if it's an outfit challenge, do not ignore the background. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but the shot itself should look pretty. A lot of people are not gonna just look at your outfit, they're gonna look at overall composition. You can literally just, if you don't have much furniture, just make a beautiful nature scene and stand in front of it, if it makes sense. Like, just make a scene, find maybe even some natural, like something that already exists in your valley that kind of matches the theme in terms of the background. Do not ignore background. It's important because it can, like, even if you have the most beautiful outfit that fits the theme perfectly, it's still, your background can drag down your image a lot. Then also, if you want to get as much potential to get as much moonstones as possible, do not do obscure references. Like, I constantly see very creative out-of-the-box submissions that rely on people knowing certain facts, certain references to understand why does this image even belong to this Dreamsnap challenge. Now, there's nothing wrong with going outside of the box, and usually I love seeing people creating super clever, super unique submissions. But the only thing that you need to keep in mind is that, does your shot fall apart if people don't get the reference? That's the only question you need to ask yourself. Does your shot make sense? Does it still look like it fits the theme for a person who never even heard about a movie or a person or whatever you're trying to portray? Like, if they have no idea what's going on in the shot, and if they don't get it, does it still fit the theme? Does it still, can it stand on its own without having, like, the reference? If you are doing a reference, it should be like a cherry on top. It shouldn't define the entire shot. because only a few people most likely gonna recognize the reference. And even those people who did know the reference might not even have a chance to recognize it because they're voting based on first impressions. Make sure your shot can be taken in and it's absolutely obvious from the first second of looking at it that it's absolutely fits the theme, and that you can take in the entire shot and you like don't have too much detail that your image relies on. Like if you have an important detail that literally defines your shot that is very small and far away, that's not a good idea. Make sure that the first thing that draws your attention when the person sees your shot is something that can help them to figure out that this image does fit the theme and that this image is good looking. As simple as that. Doesn't have to be a super simple shot. Complex shots have been doing pretty well in Dreamsnaps, like clutters and stuff, but only if the clutter makes sense and if you can zoom out, take in the entire image all together without focusing on any specific element of the shot, and it still holds up. It still looks beautiful. It looks balanced. Nothing stands out. Nothing like there's no like a giant empty spot to draw your attention. There is no like colors clashing in certain area. It's just not nice cohesive image. That's how you, in my opinion, get the best results possible and increase the chance of other people voting for your image. But what we also learned is that none of this can matter if you don't get lucky with voting. If your image gets shown to a bunch of people who just vote randomly, or if your image gets shown against some godly submissions, or if it gets shown against people who just want to get their moonstones and leave. There is too much randomness in Dreamsnaps, and we will never figure out exactly how to score high consistently, but you can definitely increase your chances by following some of the things we learned today. Thank you so much for watching. That was a very long video. If you appreciate this very long video and amount of research and data collection, please leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and let me know in the comments what is the most important thing for you when you're voting for Dreamsnaps. And huge thanks to all of our amazing community for supporting this channel. Thank you guys for providing the votes. When I make a poll on a community wall, it's usually for a reason, so it's not just for fun, it's mostly for trying to collect some data, and most likely every single poll that I do is gonna end up in a video showcasing certain point, which, just like today, it was fun. Thank you for watching, a wonderful day, take care my friends.